Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, chapter 18, verse 41. Bhagwan Krishna in the last verse said, there is no creature either on the earth or in the heaven which is free from the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, which are born out of Prakriti. Verse 41. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranam cha Parantabam Karmani Pravibhaktani Swabhava Prabhavair Gunaihi. The duties of each of these groups, that is, Bhagwan has divided the entire human being, none is left, into four categories: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras. Four different baskets. Each human being, he will take it, put it in one basket. So a Brahmana cannot perform the duty of a Kshatriya. Kshatriya cannot perform the duty of a Vaishya. Vaishya cannot perform the duties of a Sudra. How are they divided? They are divided based on Swabhava Prabhava. That is Swami Dayananda Saraswati quotes Adi Shankara here, who says three different meanings for the same Swabhava, for the same word, Swabhava. Who gives? Adi Shankara gives three different meanings. One, Swabhava means it is Ishvara's Ubhati. They are divided based on gunas. The Upadhi, which we call as Maya or Prakriti, is the cause of these qualities. Then the question is, why Bhagwan is making four different groups? Is he an arbitrary exercise of power by Bhagwan? No. It is depending upon the mental makeup of each person. Each has to mature, taking his own nature. From his own nature, he has to mature. The example I could think of is all students, there may be hundreds of students in a class. But some students are interested in maths, some are interested in science, some are interested in literature, some are interested in sports, some in music. Each one has to excel in his own field. If you ask a math student to sing a song, Carnatic song, how long you can sit? Impossible, you will run away from the auditorium. Similarly, if ISRO employs a Carnatic musician as a scientist, the racket will not go up, it will go down. It cannot be done. Each one has to excel in his own Swabhava, in his own nature. Each has to give his best in the field. The duties which one performs based on predominant gunas is different. But each one must perform his duty with a proper attitude. The ladder is first tamas, first step, then rajas, then sattva. A person who is sattvika is brahmana by God. It's only a name. CEO, if you say, oh, why you are calling CEO? You can't say CEO because he is the topmost person in the company. But that alone is not enough. Having become a brahmana, one can accomplish what needs to be accomplished. That is, you have to cross that stage also, so that you will be able to contemplate on the infinite and you become one with the infinite. The second meaning given by Adi Shankara for Swabhava is one's own nature. First he said it is the Ubhadi of Bhagwan. Now he is saying it is his own nature. Swabhava is his own nature. It is based on the proportion of gunas. We know that sattva, rajas, and tamas, each of this is the multiplicity of the human beings is based on the proportion of gunas. One may have 80% sattva, one may have 10% rajas, 10% tamas. 70, 10, this thing, 20. You mix it. You can make a number of combinations. Another meaning given by Adi Shankara for Swabhava is prarabdha, that is karma. Your past karma follows you. Why should one be born in a Brahmana family or a Kshatriya family or a Vaishya family? There must be some karma standing in his own account that determines exactly where he should be born. It is a duty based system. The prarabdha karma determines where you will be born. Krishna also says some time back, if you do good karma, then you will be born in a very good family, maybe a rich family, maybe a rishi's family. You will be born, and from there your start will be head on. Immediately you can start. Some cars, if you start, immediately they say you can 70, 80 kilometers you can go. Similarly, like that. Already Bhagwan Krishna said, it is better to die doing one's own duty rather than performing someone else's duty, which is fraught with fear. The gunas that manifest are because of Swabhava, that is one's own previously gathered karma. The third meaning, even where Varnashrama Dharma is not practiced, almost gone, it can be reasonably said that one is born into a situation according to his previous karmas. That is the view of Adi Shankara. Three views he has given. One is Upadhi of Bhagwan. Second is your own nature in the proportion of gunas. Third is your prarabdha karma. Bhagwan Krishna says, Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, Bhagwan Krishna, what he is exactly saying is, if you do your duty with proper attitude, you are a Brahmana. I repeat this. These are all very, very important points because there is a confusion even in India. Oh, he is a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya, he is a Sudra. No. This classification is made only for us to mature ourselves by excelling in our own work. So Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, if you do your duty with proper attitude, you are a Brahmana. By merely changing your duty, one cannot become a Brahmana. Suppose if a thief, he has a tuft, in his forehead he has vibhuti, in his arms and other things, Rudraksha Mala, will he become a Brahmana? Or a Brahmana, he has everything, but his mentality is to steal somebody's property. Will he be a Brahmana? So that is why Bhagavan says, if you do your duty with proper attitude, you are a Brahmana. Brahmana does not mean that you are a supreme person. It is a name. That's it. CEO. If you say CEO, oh, he is CEO. It's CEO, that's it. Chief Executive Officer of a company. He has got certain skills. That is why he is a CEO. You improve your skills, you become the CEO of the company. Who prevents you? Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, he is good enough to become a Brahmana. No country, no border. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, that is good enough to become a Brahmana. It is not change of place or change of duty, but change of attitude that changes a person. Beautifully put. Swami Chinmayananda says, different types of duties are assigned to people based on their swabhava. The swabhava or nature of a person is ordered by the proportion of gunas in the makeup of inner equipment. Somebody may have 60, somebody may have 20, somebody may have 10. It all the proportion varies. Swami Chinmayananda says, the good and bad are not diagnosed, not by seeing the color of the skin or his hair. An individual is judged by his expression when he meets the world outside. How you deal with the world, that will show you whether you are a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Sudra. The quality and texture of the mind and intellect equipment decides which group one belongs. So Bhagwan has not put the basket in an arbitrary manner. This fellow is Brahmana, this fellow is Sudra. Your mind and intellect equipment, how it is, you yourself can classify. I cannot classify myself as a Brahmana. Let me give it honest statement. I am not a Brahmana. Even though by birth I am a Brahmana. Mind and intellect equipment, it is not matured enough. It is not in Sattva Guna. Naturally, the duties prescribed for Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras, they are different as the mental composition of each is different. Shastras enjoin duties so that by pursuing the duties, the tamas can evolve into rajas, rajas can evolve into sattva, sattva people can contemplate on infinite. The seeker must wait even for sublimation of sattva so that he can experience the infinite. No one possesses exclusively one guna. That is also we must keep in mind. All the human beings, Bhagwan said, no one, including devas, possess all the three gunas. Proportion may vary, all the three gunas are present. But one guna is always predominant at one time. That is the beauty. At present, for me, it is Sattva Guna which is predominant. I am reading Bhagavad Gita. My mind is calm, beautiful, cool like cucumber. So at present, Sattva Guna is predominant. Next moment, what will happen? I don't know. Which Guna will but I have to control it. That is why it is said. And try to remain in Sattva Guna always, throughout the day, every moment, every minute. For example, for a Brahmana, Sattva Guna is predominant most of the times. Bhagwan already said this in chapter 14, verse 10. Rajastamascha sattvam bhavati bharatam rajas sattvam tamaschaivam tamas sattvam rajas tadam. When one guna is predominant, the other two are subdued. Like a signal. We have seen the example of a signal. When green is on, red and yellow will become subdued, will be switched off. When red is on, the other two will get switched off. Similarly, when one guna is predominant, the other two will take the back seat. For a Brahmana, the predominant guna is Sattva. For a Kshatriya and Vaishya, the predominant guna is Rajas. While for Sudra, it is Tamas. The proportion of gunas may vary. Again, but all of them will have all the three gunas. Every signal has to have three lights: red, green, and yellow. Swami Chinmayananda says, today these four classifications have lost much of their meaning. A true Brahmana is necessarily a highly cultured sattvic man who can readily control his sense organs and with perfect mastery over his mind and intellect equipment. So if you want to classify your yourself as a Brahmana, two conditions you must fulfill. Beautifully put by Swami Chinmayananda. One is, do you have control over your sense organs? Do you have control over your mind and intellect equipment? You are a Brahmana. Nobody needs to certify. Why you are expecting the world to certify that you are a Brahmana? You don't have to. If you are really a Brahmana, you will not bother about all these things. I am able to control my mind and intellect. I am able to control my sense organs. So I am a Brahmana by qualification as prescribed by Bhagwan Krishna. Finish. Matter over. He can raise himself to the highest peaks of meditation upon the infinite by contemplation. Today, according to Swami Chinmayananda, a Brahmana claims his status by birth. That is why there is no reverence for him. He is not respected anywhere. They criticize. Because you are claiming it as a birthright, which is absolutely wrong. That is what Swami Chinmayananda says. Dr. Radhakrishnan has said, the fourfold order is not peculiar to Hindu society alone. It is of universal application. This already we have seen that. This applies to the entire universe. The classification depends on types of human nature. Each of the four classes has certain well defined characteristics, though they are not to be regarded as exclusive. That is important. They are not determined always by heredity. That is by not by birth. Vishwamitra was Kshatriya by birth. He was a king. He became a Brahmana. He became a Brahma Rishi. In fact, he crossed that level also. Man's outward life must express his inward being. Again, Dr. Radhakrishnan also beautifully says this. Man's outward life must express his inward being. The surface must reflect the profundity. Surface must reflect the depth. That is important. These are all beautifully said. Each individual has his inborn nature, Swabhava, and to make it effective in his life is his duty, Swadharma. Each individual is a focus of the Supreme, a fragment of the Divine. There is no Brahmana is not Supreme. Every individual is part of Supreme, fragment of the Divine. His destiny is to bring out in his life this divine possibility. The one spirit of the universe has produced the multiplicity of souls in the world. But the idea of the divine is our essential nature. The truth of our being, that is our Swabhava, and not the apparatus of the gunas, which is only the medium of expression. That is our body. You don't see the body and judge whether he is a Brahmana or a Shudra or a... That is stupidity. He says the apparatus cannot determine the person. It is only a medium of expression. If each individual does what is appropriate to him, if he follows the law of his being, his Swadharma, then God would express himself in the free volition of human beings. A painter, a singer, when he sings, he merges with the God. Or a scientist, whoever you are. I repeat this sentence. These are all very, very important. If each individual does what is appropriate to him, if he follows the law of his being, his Swadharma, you can excel in any field, then God would express himself in the free volition of human beings. All that is essential for the world will be done without a conflict. But men rarely do what they ought to do. Because I am interested in, I'm a lawyer, I want to be practicing a doctor. Why to go to the court, beg to the my lord, my lord, my lord? Why? Sit and write a prescription, give 1,000 rupees, finish. 10 patients per day, 10,000 rupees. Matter over. I can happily enjoy my life. Why to go to court? So I want to become a doctor. Can I become a doctor? My nature is lawyer. Maybe a doctor may be looking for a different profession also. Follow your nature. Excel yourself in your own work, even if you suffer. That is what Bhagwan Krishna says. When they undertake to determine events, believing that they know the plan of the whole, they work mischief on earth. So long as our work is done in accordance with our nature, we are righteous. And if we dedicate it to God, our work becomes a means of spiritual perfection. Do your work, surrender the results to Bhagwan Krishna. You will achieve spiritual perfection. When the divine in the individual is completely manifested, he attains the eternal, imperishable status. The problem that human life sets to us is to discover our true self and live according to the truth. Otherwise, we would sin against our nature. That is the beauty. You want to do something else. I have seen many people. He wants to do something else, may be doing something. In his heart, he wants to do something. But he may be doing something else. The emphasis on Swabhava indicates that human beings are to be treated as individuals and not as type. The moment you see somebody, you don't say he is a Sudra. Moment you see somebody, you don't say Brahma. The individual should not be classified. He should be classified based on the Swabhava or his Swadharma. Here, Arjuna is told that he who fights gallantly as a warrior becomes mature for the peace of wisdom. Arjuna, you have to fight. Then only you can mature. Your Swabhava Guna is to fight. It is not the first time you are fighting. Throughout your life, you have been fighting wars. Suddenly you want to say, no, 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 I don't want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. What is this nonsense? You studied law for 5 years, practiced under a senior, went to court daily. Suddenly, if you say, no, 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 I want to become a doctor, tomorrow change the board. Radha Krishnan, doctor. Even the society will not accept that. You will be put in prison. Arjuna, throughout your life you have been fighting. Suddenly you want to run away and become a sannyasi. How is this possible? Mature first. You don't have a mature mind. Dr. Radhakrishnan also emphasizes that the 4 classes are not determined by birth or color, but by psychological characteristics which fit us for definite function in society. I will add one more line. I'm not going to give the entire thing. Kanchi Paramacharya's views, it will not play for the gallery. In the sense, he says, birth also is important. Birth is very, very important. You are given birth in a Brahmana family. That is also important. But that alone will not decide your destiny. That is the. I think that is my understanding of his view. I may be wrong. So, your birth is also important, and you can always evolve in whichever basket you are there. You can always yourself evolve into a Brahmana. That is what I understand. Verse 41. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranam cha parantapam karmani pravibhaktani swabhava prabhavair gunaihi. Next verse we will see tomorrow. Arihom Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. Narayana 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 நாராயண 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 நாராயண